You're listening to The Chartographers.
You're listening to The Chartographers Happy Hour Minisode, where we're talking about Butch Walker, our beloved, favorite, super hot guy, who just happens to make some music.
Wait, can that be how we start this episode, is just talking about how fucking hot Butch Walker is?
It's Evan, Taran, and special guest, Sarah Gentile. Hi.
Hi, yeah. Evan was telling me how his dad plaid phase is your favorite.
Oh, God. I mean, so he was always, not unattractive. Let's be frank. The hair metal and, 90s punk phases were not doing him any
His face is so long.
Yeah, right. But he also has just classic, when you tell me that he's, a white man from Atlanta, this is what I picture. That, slender, he's, very tall, he's got that, nose that I can't describe. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that little, button, situation.
Yeah, he's just beautiful.
Especially now that he has scruff, a little bit of a beard going on.
I don't even...
And the gray hair.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Well,
so...
Normally there's something we talk about at the start of every Happy Hour Minisode, and that's the second thing that we're going to talk about at the start of this episode, which is, guys, and I haven't thought about this one fucking bit, so let's dive in. We need to all pick one. What is the worst Butch Walker song? And I know the qualifier you want to put in, and it's not off of Afraid of Ghosts, and I agree with that because Afraid of Ghosts is a bad album. We've all discussed and agreed, so we're going to give that one up kind of a...
moot.
I was gonna say mulligan, and I was coming out like Mulaney, malicious, all these other words that were just traffic jamming in my brain right now. So, here you go, look at aging. And my brain is descending. That's not my pick for the record. God, I haven't really thought about this at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely one where there are a few bad songs. There's not really anything besides rock vocal power that's cringy.
And even that's an interlude,
Right, and that's supposed to be cringy. So,
Yeah, there's not too many that I skip. Even if it's not my favorite or I don't even really like it, I don't skip any, which is very odd for me.
He never gets obnoxious or annoying, which is often the easy nomination for this category.
Maybe Get Down for me off of.
Wow.
Really?
Okay.
I don't know. It's just,
I didn't defend it on the main cast because it's not my favorite, but I actually really like that one. Yeah. It's I like where the production
what
goes.
Is that you will get? I like the fact that he brings in the strings on it too, but it's just again, I just think vampire fight, and it's just
also
that or Mexican Coke.
It kind of reminds me. Get Down kind of reminds me of an Incubus song almost, which is not something that you listen to, but that sort of rock whine, I
mean, I still remember the classic era Drive, Wish You Were Here era Incubus and some of the earlier stuff from Dear Science, but yeah, they were a group that always had good enough songs, but never enough to be ooh, Light Grenades, I want to put that on a mix CD.
Sure.
That was a whole different experience there. What was your pick for?
I don't know. I mean, it might be Sucker Punch just because that is the one that annoys me.
Yeah.
But also it could be I don't know, ATL or
Is that yours?
No, I have such mixed feelings about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost one where I kind of want you to just cut out some silence while I look at the track lists.
Yeah. Sarah, do you have one that comes to mind?
I mean, originally, I know we rolled out Afraid of Ghosts, but I just don't remember songs on that.
Right.
So I feel that automatically
disqualifies it, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you. Mexican Coke, I was almost embarrassed. If someone else was listening to that album, I'd be
sorry.
And they were this is your favorite artist?
Yeah. No, that's a very good point.
That's fair.
So, it might be Mexican Coke. I mean, there's probably a different one that if I really thought about it, it'd stick out. But
I mean, that's similarly, I wouldn't necessarily want, if I was talking to someone about Butch Walker, I wouldn't want them to listen to Days, Months, Years, for example. Just because the lyrics of that one are really... kind of
iffy,
gross, patriarchal misogyny.
Yeah.
And I'm not about it.
Yeah. He has a couple where there's some, slight comments that make me a little
So
uneasy.
that actually reminds me of, we were watching a documentary, and it was the same guy that directed the Synthesizers video.
Yeah.
And he had an interview with his wife. It was very interesting. Like, the only clip that they included from her in this entire documentary was how she was talking about, like, Butch is a lot like his dad and a lot like his son in that they're, like, quick to laugh, quick to cry, and quick to get angry. And she, like, looks really sad and upset as she's talking to the camera about how, like, you know, she can't change it. It's what she fell in love with. But, like, you can tell that it has clearly caused, like, a lot of problems.
And I don't know if it's in that same thing or somewhere else where she, I think, just said that she knows she'll never come first. It's always the music first and then
I think
her.
she does say that in there, too.
And that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, that's probably true for a lot of artists, but just to hear it, you know?
Yeah.
And then later on, you see him interacting with the son, and it's just like, I want to go inside. Oh, well, I'll see about that. Like, he's, like, matching his son's tone at, like, every possible moment. And it's just, like, it's great that they have a connection. But she also clearly is, like, knows she's in the role of a housewife now, or at least that's how their relationship is set up into. And, like, she's just handling that. Because sometimes he'll be on tour, and sometimes he'll just, you know. But then there's also sweet moments when, like, he's away, and he describes playing Be Good Until Then for his son at, like, their kindergarten or whatever. And, like, his son, who's always spastic, is just looking at him the whole time. It's, like, actually very sweet. So, yeah, it's interesting.
He has brought his son out on stage. I know, like, I keep talking. I've seen him probably 10 times at this point.
Wow.
So I'm going to continue to bring it up, but his son's really cute. And you can tell he just adores him both ways, actually, you know? So that's really sweet.
Do you have a favorite time that you saw him live?
Or, like, a top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I definitely have a least favorite time.
Okay.
If I can talk about that.
Yeah,
Sure.
by all means.
So he had
Sorry, Butch, the truth comes out. You like being honest, this is honest.
This is our Bitch Walker story.
Hey!
So I went to his holiday show a couple years ago, and it was right after he put out that, like, Christmas album.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting it to be a full holiday show, and it ended up, like, he did some of his own songs eventually, but it definitely, like, started out for maybe the first 45 minutes only Christmas music.
Oh, no.
And even Butch Walker can't get me to like Christmas music.
Yeah,
I just am not a fan. So that was my least favorite. Other than that, he just plays House of Blues a lot, and he comes down into the crowd. And House of Blues isn't my favorite venue because it's hard for short people to see there.
Totally.
It's
It's hard for tall people to see there sometimes.
Yeah.
The balconies are not well designed. It's honestly, like, really annoying for how high profile of a venue it is.
Yes. But I do feel like at that venue he can really connect really well to the crowd, so I like seeing him at House of Blues.
Right. Mm-hmm. I understand that. You also talked about one time you went to see him at a show in Georgia, and you were there was some weird stuff with the VIP or whatever.
Yeah, so it was at the Music Midtown Festival. He was playing, and the VIP section was very large and directly in front of the stage, so anyone who actually wanted to see him was kind of set back, and there were only a few VIPs that wanted to watch his set. So he kind of just felt very far away from the crowd.
From his
and
real
then,
fans, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he just wasn't kind of getting the feedback he expected out of his hometown, probably because it was a festival, and it was like a very like pop-heavy festival, so I don't think a lot of his fans were there. And so I think he was just disappointed in general, and his frustration was definitely showing. I then saw him in Chicago a few days later, and it was completely different. So I was really excited to see him in his hometown and like thriving, and it was a totally different experience than I was expecting.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
I want to talk about our favorite Butch Walker productions for a second too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Any ones that come to mind for you? I mean, obviously Fall Out Boy.
Yes. Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, of course. But yeah, that's really how I fell in love with him. So I think those will always be the top. And then I just really, in his book, I liked hearing about him working with Pink. I think he like mentioned writing a song about Casey while he was like sitting there, kind of like ripping him apart when they were kind of going through a tough time.
Oh, wow.
So that was like interesting and fun. So yeah.
Very Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
I remember during the interview I revisited them a little bit. And he talked about how you have like a favorite songwriting session or something else that comes to mind, or something you did for another artist. And he talked about like how it may not be his favorite, but he talked about how when My Happy Ending by Avril Lavigne, which he helped produce and co-write, when that made it to the radio, it was a top 10 in the U.S. And it's just like hearing a song that I worked on the radio. He said was just trippy. Yeah. But also he talked about like with writing with her was very important because like he kind of came up with the chorus for that song, and she's like, nah, there's too many words. And he talked about how she like turned her head to the side when she heard it, and he's like, as soon as I saw that, I saw a million girls doing the exact same thing. I'm just like, yeah. And like it just like for him it's just like I can get too wordy. I can like not break it. And then he had immense praise for Max Martin too, because he says Max Martin's strength is that he doesn't have 100% full grasp on the English language, because he's like think about So What by Pink, because he's like, I would never write a song like that. So what? I'm just a rock star. I've got my rock moves, and I don't. And it's just like I would never write that lyric ever. But he's a genius because he can write that lyric. Yeah, right.
Have you guys ever listened to the podcast And the Writer Is? Highly recommend. It's Ross Golan, huge pop writer. But something he had on was explaining that that's why the Swedes are so good, because they have to simplify the lyrics. And it really helps connect to the broader audience then.
Yeah. I had never thought of it in that sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's gotta be more to it than just that. Why Sweden specifically. Right. But still, that's like clearly that's part of it.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, I would also, on that same note, recommend Chris Malamphy's Hit Parade podcast, where he kind of just talks about like chart history and kind of the history behind the song. He has one about Britney Spears' Baby One More Time, but it's so much more about Max Martin and the songwriting studio he came from, and just like how they kind of worked their way into it, and how just like, again, Baby One More Time is still a weird lyric to say, hit me baby one more time, like hit me up on the phone is what they mean, but to the American audience there's enough vagueness in the phrase hit that it kind of is just like, wait, what are you talking about exactly? So like
could be any number of things.
Exactly. And that was the power of it too. It's just that little bit of mystery, which a lot of people, and he even in our interview talked about, like he just thinks the mystique from rock is gone too. But I remember even back once in an interview for Spin talked about how the mystique is wrong, because he remembers like, I remember looking at a Devo album and just being like seeing those little pyramid hats they wear, and on the back of it was a large version of that. I'm like, did they live in there? Like, I didn't know. I was so young at the time. Like, and he talks about like how now everyone's out there all the time, so the sense of mystery is always great. It's always helpful. Even like when Beyonce drops the whole album, and I filmed all the music videos too, and you're like, oh shit, okay. Like, it's just kind of like, how did I not know about this? Yeah.
It takes a little bit more effort to do that kind of thing now, so it's more respectable. Yeah.
Right, like it takes this, like you have to curate your public life to be private in order to pull something like that off, because so many people are just social media all the time, like they're saying, I'm in the studio, here's me with this producer, and it's like, okay,
oh my
so
God,
we know
they're in the studio with Dr.
them. Like, oh, it's so exciting, but like that's 9 months before the record comes out. Yeah.
Do you guys have any songs that he's produced that you don't particularly like? Because I definitely do.
Oh, I mean that Avril Lavigne song.
It's just like, it's weird. Oh, well, it's kind of weird that we did an entire episode on fucking Weezer, and we didn't mention how he produced Pacific Daydream.
Yeah, and he was so excited for it.
Well, didn't he also do Ratitude?
He did a few songs off of Ratitude, but more specifically, he did the only good song off it, which is If You're Wondering If You Want You To, I Want You To.
Oh, okay.
That's like the only Butch song on there, and also the best song on the album.
Easily.
Off that terrible album. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but he produced all of Pacific Daydream.
Which is not fantastic, but
might not be his fault.
Probably right. His production is probably why it's like actually listenable.
Exactly. I forgot he produced like one or two songs off of Infinity on High by Fall Out Boy, which is
wild, and they're not my favorite songs off that record. That's like a really formative record for me, and he has like the two songs like right at the end, and they're both like it's the last two songs on a 14-track album. I don't always make it that far.
But like legitimately, the work that he did on Save Rock and Roll is kind of amazing, especially I Know What My Songs Did in the Dark, because when he talks about there you're in the dawn with the burn, like it just kind of this like weird thing in the verse of this like pure breaking the lyric with a sound hit is like, that's kind of wild actually.
But do you feel like the Panic album that came out around the same time kind of sounds the same? Because I do.
The Ballad of Mona Lisa is a shitty song, and there's no way and that's the problem with Panic at the Disco. They have one, in my opinion, they have a very good album. That's actually Death of a Bachelor, which is like them going fully. They fully bend into like, we're gonna be a fucking Vegas act and we're gonna own it, and they just fucking do, and it's just great. Horn sections all the way up the shit, and then they had High Hopes, and that's a whole issue outside of itself. But thank you, Mayor Pete.
But that song wasn't like terrible until it got overexposed.
Right, exactly.
I liked it until it was a hit.
Yeah. I'm a big Panic fan, but I did feel like that Panic album just felt too much Fall Out Boy. And I know people who they're not familiar with either.
It was Vices and Virtues, right? Yeah.
I'm not even sure what it was.
That was the one with like it had the picture of the pool on the front.
No, that's Death of a Bachelor.
Oh.
Yeah. The Vices and Virtues is the one with Brendan and whoever the drummer was before he got fired at the time on the cover. Yeah. But it was fully produced by Butch, but he had one song on there because like there's only witches or something at the very end, which had just a wild fucking production style, which reminded me a lot of Left of Cell Centered era. Yeah.
But I definitely know people who aren't that familiar with either band, when they hear songs off of those records, are like, oh, is this Panic or Fall Out Boy? And it definitely kind of validates me being like, oh, this sounds like the exact same thing.
I mean,
Butch also produced Immortals.
Always thought, like, yes, they had their own sounds, but like, Fever You Can't Sweat Out came out, and then I felt like the next Fall Out Boy record, which wasn't that Infinity on High at that point?
I think,
like, sort of went more in that like produced pop direction, and then Panic at the Disco came out with like their Beatles record.
Pretty
and then,
odd.
You know, and like they sort of
Night
always
in the afternoon. Yeah.
But maybe that's just me. They're both on the same record label.
Yeah. Well, and the Fall Out Boy signed them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. After Brandon Urie sent in his like songs via fucking live journal or whatever. I don't know, internet stuff back in the day.
It's probably like a private MySpace message.
Yeah.
I can say the one song I really had high hopes for. I hate that I just did that.
But that's
it was so appropriate. It was so approach.
That's how we know you're really truly a guest.
It was totes approach.
So I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift. There's a few songs I like. Most of the time, just not a fan in general.
Yeah.
But when I found out she liked Butch, I was like, new respect. And then I heard that he was producing a song, and Ed Sheeran was on it, and I love it. I love Ed Sheeran, but then the song came out. I felt it was slightly overproduced, and I didn't like it, and I was really sad.
Again, though, that might not be his fault.
Yeah.
Because especially, like, recent years, Ed Sheeran has a habit of
being terrible.
Being on overproduced songs.
Yeah.
Like, just making, like, all of the different synth levels, and there's so many, like, different syncopated drum beats happening, and it all just sort of, like, loses itself.
Yeah.
And I know that that was pretty early for Ed Sheeran, but that was still, you know, I could definitely hear his influence on that one. Because I think he also co-wrote it.
I think so.
But also, the whole reason he came on her radar is because one day when he came back from an acoustic show, he made a weird little YouTube video of him making an entire band from scratch doing You Belong With Me. And it gave up to the point where like she like really dug it. She tweeted about it. And people were like, who the fuck is this guy? And then at the 2010 Grammys, she invited him on stage to play the mandolin, like with her band to play. And I remember like watching the broadcast being like, was that fucking Butch? Holy shit!
Was that the performance that Stevie Nicks was also on stage?
Probably. I don't explicitly recall, But, he was in the echelon of the greats, and I'm just like, yes, please, thank you, yes.
But I'm pretty sure she liked him before he did that video covering her song, because I think she had tweeted something about being at his show, like, right before or after her show. Like, the same night she was performing or something. I don't remember exactly, but my friend pointed it out, and was like, oh, Taylor likes Butch. And I was like, what now?
And it's one of the things, as much as Taylor Swift is a calculating machine, let's be real, the thing is, on Big Machine Records, she also sometimes does nice things, because actually one of our former guests for this podcast, Bobby Evers, he interviewed Dashboard Confessional like a couple weeks after she threw a birthday party for one of her friends, and her favorite artist of all time was Dashboard Confessional, and then of course she's Taylor Swift. She just got Chris Caravan to show up and like play all their songs, and so like Bobby was like asked him about how was that? He's like, surreal.
Oh,
be on fucking Taylor Swift's Instagram feed, and all of a sudden people are just like, oh my god, fucking dashboard, yeah. I recently did a list for Yardbarker of the best cuts, the ultimate playlist from MTV Unplugged, because you remember those from back in the day. And one of them was MTV Unplugged Dashboard Confessional. I'm like, why? He is already fucking unplugged. Why do we need to do an album of him unplugged?
That's funny.
You heard his songs on acoustic guitar. Had you heard him do his songs on acoustic guitar? Like, I don't know. It was just so redundant. But no, Butch is nice. It's one of the things where it's been so long since he's put out new music. He's put out a few scant singles. We put on his cover of Eye of the Tiger the other night. As Taran described it, it's a Gorillaz song. Oh, it's a Lumineer song now. It was just interesting.
There was one other cover where it came out and I was like...
Tovlo. He did Tovlo's Talking Body.
Oh, yeah. And that was, like, solid. But I was like,
this
is basically just his cover of You Belong With Me, except it's Tovlo this time.
Yeah, that was a good song. I dig her a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the thing is that I keep forgetting, like, and just looking at this research week, I was just blown away by how many songs that he'd done that I'm just like, I fucking heard that. Of course I fucking heard that. Oh my god, I've heard that too. It was great. He did tell the story. He was on he's very good friends with Pat Monahan of Train. He's produced quite a few Train songs of the latter era. And he went on and he talked about, like, he loved Kiss, obviously, as a kid. That was his big thing. And somehow he convinced his dad to take him to see a show, and his mom was there, and his two sisters, too. And I remember, like, he was, like, losing his mind, because, like, they're in fucking Georgia, and Kiss is playing here. He's so excited. This is Kiss. And then, like, he sees them do the fucking Kiss things. Like, at one point, the guitar, like, they're strumming it, and then it just fucking rises into the ceiling, like it was on strings the whole time, and then explodes, and this thing just sparks. It's just like, I want to be a rock star forever. And his dad was, like, stone-faced sober, and just like, what the fuck are these people doing the whole time? I'm just like, that sounds amazing. I mean, I don't think I've taken my parents to see any shows that they would disapprove of, but I don't.
The only show I took my mom to see was Butch Walker.
Really?
Yes. Like, prior to that, we hadn't been to a show since, like, NSYNC, when she was taking me.
Wow.
So,
during the pop tour.
Yes. And the second time we went to see them, she was more excited than I was.
Really?
Big NSYNC fan.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I took her to see Butch Walker, and she actually enjoyed it. And I wasn't sure if she'd like it live, but he's just so amazing. He starts out with these, like, piano ballads, very slow, and then he gradually grows in, and then all of a sudden you get hit with, like, just a rock star wall of sound, and it's so fun. Nice. You guys, I'm gonna drag you guys next time he's there.
Absolutely.
Please.
Like, I would love
you guys
that.
are coming
when
with
the dates
me.
get announced, like, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm so there for it. I mean, we've seen artists after we've recorded about them too, so I'm all for continuing that tradition. The real question, though, who gave you the best mixtape that you've ever had? Or even all the sad songs ain't that sad?
I feel like I haven't been given that many mixtapes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Playlist?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, I had this friend, Andrew, and I mean, in high school, I was kind of struggling because all of my friends they weren't the emo kids that I was. And so I always kind of struggled. So I had this one friend that, like, we would go to shows together, and so we would pass music back and forth. So I would definitely say him, but yeah.
I remember, like, in terms of mixtapes, like, I made mixtapes of fucking art. I was so good at it. And the thing is, I do playlists now, and it's just not the same. I still like a mixed CD
so
format.
not the same.
Exactly. Like, you can do it, but it's just like, I like having that immediacy towards it. But at the same time, though, I did some great ones. So whenever someone gave one to me, I was always highly skeptical of it. And I give credit to my buddy Tony. He gave me some, like, stuff that kind of expanded my mind back in the day. But I remember Taran gave me one, which was, it was like the second one he ever gave me when we were early in our relationship. And it had, some K-pop stuff on there. But also, it's one of the things where his family is very large, and there's a lot of traditions to it. So there's a lot of songs on there that are kind of a part of that. So I can't remember the name of it, but there's the one that Peter's a sunflower now. That one.
Larry's a sunflower now. Yeah.
Sunflower now.
It's a children's song.
Grows
it's off like a children's record by Peter
Himmelman.
Himmelman. But it's like, even, the rest of the album is dumb children's songs. But that's like, okay, the lyrics are ridiculous, but it's just like a solid track.
Yeah, I just remember that one. That's probably the one that immediately comes to mind in terms of good ones I received.
I really don't remember any. I'm just, like, assuming that it was one. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I, off the top of my head, the one where I like, I listen to, like, I have a playlist of like all of my favorite songs of all time. And I go through and realize like, oh, like 9 of these songs came from this mix CD that my sister Bree made me in high school called The Improper Bostonian. I can like picture her writing of all the tracks on it. It had like No Doubt on it. It had How You Like Me Now by The Heavy. It had me like Hang Me Out to Dry by Cold War Kids. Just like songs that like still to this day
formative.
Really, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I almost like didn't realize how formative of a mix CD it was until like years later.
Yeah.
When I go, oh wow, that's why I know all these songs. That's
Season 2 of The Chartographers, Bria Bell is a guest on our No Doubt episode. I just want to point out,
and she probably will be again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
She was on our Fall Out Boy episode.
That's true. Yeah.
I just remember some people that like I was not friends with, but I wanted to be their friend because they like listen to the same music as I did, whatever. They were talking about Brand New one day, and I had never listened to Brand New, and that was like my first taste of emo music, and then from there I got into Taking Back Sunday, which is, aside from Butch Walker, my favorite band. But I feel like hearing other people's influence, it was kind of my mixtape because I never got mixtapes from people because my friends were listening to like the Jonas Brothers, which I also love, but also like I felt like I couldn't admit that I liked that kind of music, and then I also didn't fit in with the kids that liked my music, so I kind of kept to myself and didn't really get those mixtapes.
I will say, that's one of the things where, I remember, like, liking music a lot, but I've made a point to, like, expand my horizons, and honestly, with this podcast, when we do so many different artists, and, like, certain ones, like, when I do fucking Talking Heads or Gusto, or, like, someone that's not my thing, it's great because I can talk to other people. Music is always a common thread with everyone, so, like, if you're able to, it's like a social currency. And if you're able to talk to someone about, like, oh, I know of this rap artist who can speak to that, or this metal artist, or this whatever, like, it's just great because like it's a way to connect with people very quickly and very instantly. It's just fantastic to be able to do that. So it's a shame that more people don't know about Butch Walker in that documentary Out of Focus. Even the fans lining up for his London show are like, every time I mention him to someone, they're like, who? And I'm like, it's just like, yeah, I mean, he's kind of a cult artist, but he's like one of the biggest cult artists, like legitimately.
I remember the day that we found out we both liked Butch Walker. We were standing by the coffee machine
I
at work.
By the corner, by the window.
And was I like going to his show or something?
I just remember I asked you like, hey, so because we've seen each other enough at work, I'm just like, so hey, I was just wondering, do you have any favorite artists of all time? Because we're talking about music somehow or something tangentially related. And you literally said like, you wouldn't have heard.
I was like, I don't think you'll like know him because I'm so used to everyone being like, who? So I just start off with like, he's just like this producer turned like songwriter, you know, like he does his own stuff. So I kind of have to always preface it, and then as soon as I said that, you're like, oh my God, and I was like, thank God. And I've had that experience with like 3 other people.
Oh my God.
One of them is the one who got me in to meet him, and then a friend in high school, we realized we both really liked him, so it's kind of really fun when you get that because it's rare and it's like you both are like, it's kind of what I feel like when you have a very nice car and you see someone else with the same car and you do that like nod at each other. Like that's what I like feel like that must feel like.
Yeah. I know, and just as soon as, because also as soon as like you said your favorite artist is Butch Walker, I'm like, we are like connected now. Because like that thing, like that's such a niche thing to like know that person that is like as obsessed. I'm like, absolutely. And I knew from that moment on that even though we didn't have a podcast at the time, one day you would be so
on this podcast. Later,
exactly. Yeah, because I feel like
we hadn't even started the podcast.
That was like I want to say 2016, so maybe even before we started legitimately. So yeah, and if we had started it, I definitely wasn't thinking of Butch Walker that we'd ever be doing an episode.
Right.
Wait, it was right around the time that Stay Gold came out. Yeah.
So yeah, 2016.
So, exactly.
Oh right, because you got her the album.
And guess what? Congratulations, Butch Walker. You are the 49th artist that we've done for this entire podcast. We're coming up on 50 right now, which is just...
Check your watch.
Yeah. Because...
like, you have all of the artists written on your wrist. You got them tattooed.
Oh, look, it's Guster o'clock. But let me say, any other Butch stories, anything else you want to toss out there in the world so that we have it?
Oh man, I'm sure there are, but I can't think of any now.
I know, you told us so many great ones already, and let me just say, Sarah... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say, you mentioned B-sides. So if you can't think of any right now, that's fine, we can cut this. But
I remember the Heartwork EP came out, which I actually have the physical CD of it, which had like mixtape, I think one other song off of Letters, and then also had like a cover of The Cars, My Best Friend's Magic Girl. It had another one, it was like Late Flight Out, I think was the name of the song.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, it's something pop, the sky looks like an astro pop.
Yes,
exactly. I remember that, and just like, oh, there was a fun little one that he kind of tossed out there.
I forgot about that one. That's probably my favorite. I totally forgot that existed.
Oh my god, the Heartwork EP. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. I did find that out.
It's always so weird to like, I mean, because obviously we all know Spotify doesn't have everything, but like to go to an artist where like you mentioned earlier, like you discovered during the LimeWire days. So like you heard the original demo of this song probably, and then you go to play it on the album and you're like, this isn't right. What's happening? And then it's like you go on YouTube and you find the version you want and it has like 80 plays.
Yeah.
Or like
And you were probably half of them.
right. Or like you some like B-side where you're like, I can't remember what this is called, but I know it's this artist. Why isn't it here? Like it's this era of music is so funny for that.
Right. And even when I broke out the Out of Focus DVD, I remember like popping it out and just like in this white DVD case to play it. I'm just like, I wonder how many copies of this he has at his place. Like, how many unsold copies of it. Because, like, he's enough of a cult artist where he can release a DVD of a documentary about his own life, about basically the making of the Spade, and have it, like, sell well enough to support it. But, yeah.
Have you guys seen Leaving the Game on Lucky Street?
No. His live album? No.
So, I had wanted this so bad. I was scouring eBay for months and months and months.
Really?
Had an alert set up. And finally one popped up. I paid like a ridiculous amount of money, especially for how young I was. I was working at Target. Like I didn't have money to drop. Like it was like $80.
Oh my god.
Wow.
And I like finally get it. And then literally a couple months later, he puts it on his online store for like $20.
God damn it.
I was
The
like,
worst.
what? It was years worth of waiting.
The two most egregious purchases I ever made, I'll tell you. One was for the movie for the soundtrack for a 2003-2004 German film called Control. One of my favorite movies of all time. It is this movie about ticket takers in the subway, and it's like a surrealistic drama, comedy, action, horror, sci. Like it's just like all
German?
these different. I showed it to you once.
I thought it was like Polish.
Oh, we may have been.
Or like.
But the artist who did the soundtrack is Neo. He is German, and it is like one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. With this like crazy mix of electro sounds that was just immediate and catchy. And I remember to buy the CD because it's only available in Germany, and so at the time I didn't even have like Google Translate wasn't even a thing, or I didn't know about it. So I literally had the Amazon page, Amazon.de and Amazon.com, and I had another CD, and I just started clicking through onto like both of these windows at the same time.
Make sure that you
I was
had
doing
right
yeah, because like the buttons are in the same place.
Yeah.
I had to do that, and I spent like
funny.
about $80 on there. But the worst one of all time was the soundtrack to the Edgar Wright Simon Pegg TV show Spaced before they did Shaun of the Dead, which is a phenomenal TV show, very nerd culture heavy from like early 2000s, late 90s, and the soundtrack is amazing because it's an Edgar Wright soundtrack, so of course it's goddamn amazing. Bought it. There was no other version available, and it's the only time I would ever have it. It's not on Spotify or any of that shit. $100 for that CD.
Yeah.
$100. It's still in my collection now. I have no regrets.
My only other one was The Singer of the Academy Is, which another
Butch Walker production. Right? Yeah.
Didn't he do that like whole album?
I think he did a couple songs.
And then he was like in the music video.
Yeah.
So good. Again, when like two of my favorites coming together. Love it. But The Singer of the Academy Is had this band, Remember Maine, and I also waited for one of those albums to come up, but that, like, it was bad. It was, like, just, like, bedroom recording, back before bedroom recording sounded good.
Yeah.
And I just somehow needed to purchase that and spend like another $80 on that, even though.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
I remember the band Lost Prophets, just like in the whole like new metal-ish kind of Linkin Parky band. I'm like, I'm gonna find my own Linkin Park, and Lost Prophets was it. And just like they were like band. They had Last Train Home, which is like, oh, this is a good song. And then the lead singer was a fucking pedophile and was arrested for trying to buy a baby. And essentially, like, it was like he was immediately jailed. So the rest of the band were like, okay, we're gonna get together with Jeff Wrigley, the vocalist from Thursday, and we're gonna form a new band. And it's gonna be produced by Dave Fridman of the Flaming Lips. And I'm just like, well, fuck, I gotta hear what this sounds like, and it's boring as shit. And it was just like, it was so disappointing. I know, it's just like always those things. Anyway, long story short, Butch Walker, we love you, we appreciate you, and honestly, you've heard what we've done. You might be able to produce this podcast a little bit better. So if you want to get in touch with us, thechartographers@gmail.com, or just leave your contact info in the review that you leave for us on iTunes or Apple Music or whatever. But guys, please follow us, like us, message us. If you find us on Facebook, please drop us a line. We love hearing feedback. We really do, especially about Butch Walker, which we're all very passionate about. We love him dearly. But in the meantime, though, Sarah, and I mean this, thank you so much for being here. This has been a dream come true.
Thank you for letting me babble about my favorite artist.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's our favorite pastime is having people over.
We've done it 49 times, and with any luck, we'll do it for 49 more. But no more than that. We won't reach 100. I want it to be like, people pining for us.
Fuck syndication. We're doing 99 episodes.
Exactly. We're just going to hold that away from you.
I couldn't think of the word syndication. It took me so long. Anyway, sorry.
All right. In the meantime, though, you're all our tainted angels, a.k.a. South Gang, and we appreciate you, so please...
Stop that.
In the meantime, keep on listening, because you know that we'll be. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.
Turn it down?
Just a little bit.
That looked great.
Okay.
When you screamed yay, it didn't even clip.
Hey!
Oh.
Yeah, just a teeny tiny itty bitty. A teeny tiny itty bitty. Calm down there, kind of boy.